Is the federal government taking away the states, cities, towns, and villages' right to stop 5G? What role is the government playing in the spread of 5G?
Well, that's a good question. So a lot of things are happening actually at every level of government, but especially at the federal level. They are pushing forward regulations, both in Congress and with the FCC, that will streamline the deployment of small cells, and I'm going to do quote on the small cells, which are like mini cell towers that would be put up in neighborhoods, every 2 to 10 homes, with wireless antennas to deploy 5G and also the current technology, 4G technology that we have. So what they've done is there's a FCC ruling, which is actually happening now, which is stripping away even the state's ability, much less the local towns, to decide what they can do on their rights of way, and making it much easier for companies to argue that they're being denied providing the service so that they can go to court against a community. And that's happening too. Although the companies aren't always winning, but they, at the state level, I should mention the state, there are streamlining bills at the state level, supported, developed by industry, ALEC bills, which are stripping the local towns and districts' ability to decide what they have in their right-of-way. And then even at the district level, at every level, there are like new zoning that makes it so that a wireless antenna, you don't need a setback, or as long as it's 10 feet away from your home, it can just go there and you get no public hearing, no notice. And so we're contacted by people all around the world, but also in the United States. They say, wait, there's a cell tower, one of those small cells was put in front of my home. What can I do? How do I fix this? I was never informed. Entire communities they're starting to dig to put in these mini cell towers, and people are like, wait, what? What's going on? And then the officials say, well, there's nothing we can do. We can't stop this. I believe there is a lot we can do, because if people, get educated and work on this issue, this can be addressed. Absolutely. But it's kind of one of those all hands on deck situations, because one person can't fix it. But if you get a group of people together, this can be fixed. I fully believe that. Don't give up hope. There are some jurisdictions that are trying to pass zoning that would allow that, because in some communities you couldn't do that without getting some sort of change in the zoning. But yes, that's why we have to really educate our neighbors, our family members, and we actually have to do something. People who've never gotten involved, because with food, or with what beauty products you use, if you use all healthy products, and with food, you're in control. You're in control of what you put in your body, what you put on your body. With 5G, it's involuntary exposure. We don't have control. If I don't want to have cell phone radiation, and I, don't use a cell phone, which is normally but with this, you can't turn off a cell tower. It's exposing everyone, all ages, the elderly, people who are sick, babies, and they have no control over their exposure. So everyone has to get involved and start talking about it. Even if you just start talking about it, watch some of there's great videos online about this. Environmental Health Trust, we have a YouTube channel, and we have a lot of playlists on the science on 5G, on children, exposures in schools. There's a video called Generation Zap that is about wireless technology, and educate yourself and ask your elected officials to take action on this, because they need They need the people to be courageous and help them do the right thing.
Is the FCC protecting us from the dangers of mobile devices and Wi-Fi? Why aren't they protecting us?
Yeah, the FCC is not a health and safety agency. They are not protecting us. They are made up of, the commission is made up of prior Verizon lawyers. In fact, Commissioner Carr is a lawyer who worked in the law firm who sued San Francisco when San Francisco passed a law to inform the public that cell phones emitted radiation and how to reduce exposure. And now he is a commissioner. So, and actually there's this revolving door between industry and government, and especially just ever more perfectly shown than in the FCC. Harvard, in 2015, Harvard Press Department of Ethics published a book called Captured Agency about the revolving door between industry and government related to cell phone radiation. They looked not only at how much money our Congress, our congressional and our representatives were getting from the industry, but also how the FCC is made up of former lobbyists or lawyers for the cell phone industry, and how when commissioners retire off the FCC, they then go to work and head up different organizations with the wireless industry. So, you know, even if you're a government employee, when you retire, your next job, and it's going to be a good job, is going to be with industry, and people have their eyes on that. So there is this, because of that, we don't have accountability in the government. And actually, the FCC adopted limits in 1996 when the EPA was defunded based on military industry groups' recommendations. There was not research done on impacts on children or long-term impacts, and they haven't been reviewed or changed since then. So we have over 20-year-old limits in this country. So a lot of people ask me, well, how do I reduce exposure? And I've talked about keep the phone away from your head and body. Turn off antennas when you're not using them, like turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off Bluetooth, turn on only what you're using if you have to use the phone, and when you're not using it, turn it off. The best thing you can do is use wired connections for most of your internet use, is use a hardwired computer, certainly at home. You can hook that up. Make sure the mouse, the keyboard, all the accessories, the printer is hardwired. Don't use cordless phones, decked cordless phones. Some people have those in their bedrooms, near their bed. That is like a mini base station. It's emitting radiation all the time. Use a regular corded phone with curly wire on it. So those are some. Don't use the cell phone in the car. I talked about that. Know when your phone is going to go to high power and try to decrease use at those times. Your phone goes to high power when you're in an area of low signal, like we are right now in a basement, and where you can look at the phone and see what the signal is. In an elevator, don't turn it off when you get into an elevator, because even if you have it in your pants pocket, you go in that elevator, you've got the metal around you, there's not a good signal in there, and it's going to be like, wait, where's the local cell tower? And it's going to be like putting out its signal. Let me say hi. Who do I connect with? And that's radiation all going through your body. But those personal changes are not going to fix 5G, are not going to fix the reality that people are using phones and devices more, and that has to be fixed with policy, long-lasting, meaningful change, which means we have to get out of our bubble, and we have to start talking to our elected officials and calling for action on this issue.